Hey guys, welcome back to Harpies in the Trees, where I review horror books with a supernatural focus. Vlog edition. So today I'm going to be reading a little bit in my kitchen. My next two reads are a book of poetry called Remembering the Dead by R. St. Clair. You may recognize this name from Regina's Haunted Library. This also has a short story in the back, which is really looking forward to. And Florence and Giles by John Harding. This was a book that was recommended by a Patreon, so I had picked this up a while ago. I think it was so long ago, I'm so sorry. So I just started reading some of this. I'm a few chapters in, not too much, but I really want to go to the cemetery tomorrow and read this because I think it's you know, that's appropriate for this book, Remembering the Dead. I think it's gonna be like just the perfect location for, you know, reading some poems. So for today, I'm gonna do some more reading on this. Now, this is a story that takes place in the 1890s. It's about a young girl who's living with her uncle, who she doesn't really know much about, but he has prohibited her from reading, so of course, she's going to do that. And she has taught herself how to read. She creates her own usages of words and grammar, so she has kind of like her own language a little bit. And I'm at this part where she's trying to find a new reading space because she's been reading in the library, but she's not able to keep time in the library. So if she's needed or someone is looking for her or she needs to be somewhere, she will lose all track of time. So she's trying to find somewhere else in the house to be able to make a little rat nest and read. I'm having a little bit of trouble with this book because it's really distracting to me, her language that she's made for herself. For example, she says things like, "Of course there was riskery in transporting these to the library, because if I encountered anyone en route, I would be completely unexplained." She does a lot of things where she adds the suffix of like U and N and ERY to things, and sometimes it distracts me because I kind of have to stop and like rethink like what exactly she's saying, and then I just get pulled out of the story. So it seems to be a little bit more of a chore for me at this point. So I'm hoping that as I keep reading that it will become a little less distracting and I can get a little bit more lost in the story. So I'm gonna go ahead and read like another 20, 30, 40 pages, and then we'll come back. But first, let's make something to drink. It is really hot today, and I just picked up some watermelon at the market that looked really, really good. So I'm thinking we need to make something with that.
This is something that me and my boyfriend were drinking all last summer. It's super refreshing. It's just watermelon crushed into a glass, and we add lemon or lime, depending on what we have, some ice cubes, and either mineral water or Sprite. I will say the Sprite is much more like tasty, like it's really good, but I'm trying to get away from sugary drinks. But this is very healthy and refreshing, and I really love this for hot days.
Okay, I think I'm ready to read now. This is like one of the problems that I have in reading the story is like sentences like, "It tedious having to go right down to the first floor." Like it kind of makes my brain hurt sometimes when I read these words. But I understand that it's her own way of learning how to read and kind of making it her own. And I think a lot of people would find it very, very charming. So I've just finished up to page 54. It's picking up a little bit. Most of what I had read previously was kind of us just kind of getting to know Florence and, you know, what she how she exists in her mind on a daily basis sort of thing. but her brother has gone to a boarding school, and so she's kind of left there by herself, and she's trying to, you know, make it work for her. We also heard a little bit of a rumor that Blythe House, which is the house that Florence lives in, is haunted. So that's pretty cool. And the synopsis tells us that a governess comes along, and Florence, the main character, believes that this governess is out to harm her brother. So I'm interested to see where it goes. If there really is a haunting, and what is it with this governess, if this girl's fears are real, or they're just part of her mind, or just part of her nightmares. So it'll be really interesting to find out.
I'm here in my favorite cemetery. It's very overcast today, which is actually really nice. It's very cool. It's not supposed to rain, so I think I'm all good. This is my favorite section. It is this area where the tombs are very Gothic, you know, and I really love it a lot. And it's very overgrown. It is so beautiful right now. So I found myself a little comfy seat right here. I'm going to be reading this book of poetry by Regina St. Clair. It's going to be just the most perfect environment for reading this. So maybe something spooky will happen, who knows. So I definitely want to get through all of this right now, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so I just finished reading Remembering the Dead. I'm not someone who knows a lot about poetry, but I do appreciate when poetry sort of builds like a little vignette in my mind, or some type of emotion. I feel like it's almost like a sculpture, you know, where it's not a whole story, but you can really get a lot of it, you know, from just the feeling, or the tone, or the colors, or the cadence, stuff like that. But I really did like the poems that I read here. They're very nostalgic, some of them are kind of sentimental. There was a really fun one about Dracula that I liked a lot. And there's a short story at the end, and it's called Father Angelo. And I think I'll save that for the review video that I'll do. So I think I'm definitely going to find another location to do some reading of Florence and Giles. So let's go do that. So I found a new section to read in. It's this very, just little shady area right here. It's a really cute bench. So we're going to do some reading here. I did see a crow. I know they're causing some havoc at this cemetery. There's actually signs up about how the crows are, you know, destroying some things and eating flowers and pecking stuff. And it's a gang of crows is what they call them. So I hear some crows screaming, making some mischief. I can't even tell you how sublime this weather is. Okay, so I'm on page 54, and you know, like, it was kind of having a hard time getting into it, like I said the other day, but it's getting interesting now, and I want to see where it's going to go. There's a mention of a haunted house, and I hope all of that stuff comes too. There is an actual haunted house in this story, because I would love that. Just, you know, I would love that. So I'm going to go ahead and read like 20 or 30 pages, and then talk about how I'm feeling. Okay, so I'm right here at part 2. I've read part 1. I'm still not really sure about how I feel about the writing style of this book. So that's where I'm struggling the most, you know, it's like getting immersed in this world of Florence. Like, there are moments when I do start kind of like, it starts sort of, I don't know, shaping around me, and then I just kind of lose it at some point. And I don't know if that's just because there's not really a lot happening right now, or if the language is just so distracting. I just keep being pulled out again and again and again from the story. This is a Gothic tale, so it's not a horror story, it's Gothic. So I'm looking for mood and atmosphere, and that psychological kind of emotional exploration into things that are unknown, even though they may be coming from somewhere very familiar. So we'll see. So I think I'm going to head home now, finish up my reading at home, and just kind of take my time walking back home to the cemetery. So I'm back home now. I ate some dinner and I'm going to go ahead and continue reading some more of Florence and Giles, just to get a little bit more further for this vlog reading. And then we can talk a little bit about just the beginning of part 2 and how that's feeling for me and where I think that might be going. Okay, so I've read up to page 99, so this is chapter 13, and this is 3 chapters into part 2, and we have the governess coming onto the scene and causing Florence to feel like there's something about this governess that seems a little bit
evil.
It is getting more interesting now, so I am interested to see where it goes. So I guess I will find out later on today or tomorrow when I do finish the book. I think it's going to go pretty quickly. So I've had a really good last 2 days of reading, and I've actually just ordered some books to come in. So I have, I think, 6 or 7 new books coming. I'm very, very excited about this. Thank you so much for joining me for my vlog for these past couple of days. And if you like this video, please like and comment below. If you want to keep up with my content, please subscribe and hit the bell button. Other than that, please take care of yourselves, look out for each other, and I will talk to you next time.